Good morning, dear children. Let us continue the lesson reproduction in plants. Okay, last class we have discussed about the artificial vegetative propagation in plants and also the sexual reproduction in plants. Okay, actually where we have discussed the structure of a typical flower. Okay, do you remember that? Okay, you know the important parts of flower. Actually, four important parts of flower. They are actually petals, then sepals, then stamen, and then pistil or carpel. You know which is the male reproductive part of flower? Okay, stamen. Stamen is actually the male reproductive part, and which is the female reproductive part actually? Carpel or pistil. That represents the female reproductive part. Isn't it? And today's class we can discuss about the unisexual flower and the bisexual flower. Okay, unisexual flower and a bisexual flower. First we can see the unisexual flowers. Okay, you know some plants have separate male and female flowers. Isn't it? Some plants have a separate male flower and a female flower. That means the male flower that contains only the male reproductive part. The male flower contains only the male reproductive part, that is the stamen. And the female flower that contains only the female reproductive part, that is the pistil. Listen it. Some plants have a separate male and female flowers. The male flower that contains only the male reproductive part, that is stamen, and the female flower that contains only the female reproductive part, that is the pistil. Listen it. That is the flowers which contain either the male or female reproductive part are unisexual flower. Okay, the flowers which contains either the male reproductive part or the female reproductive part. That means the flowers which contains either stamen or pistil. And such flowers are called unisexual flowers. Listen it. What is meant by unisexual flowers? The flowers which contains either the male or the female reproductive part. That is either stamen or pistil. And such flowers are called unisexual flowers. For example, watermelon, then papaya, then bitter gourd. These are examples for unisexual flowers. Okay, watermelon, then papaya, then bitter gourd are actually unisexual flowers. Listen it. And next about the bisexual flowers. Okay, bisexual flowers. You know what is bisexual flowers? And some flowers has both male and female part in the same flower. Okay, the flower in some flowers actually the male reproductive part and the female reproductive part are seen in the same flower. That means both the stamen and the pistil are seen in the same flower. Isn't it? And such a flower is called what? Bisexual flowers. Such a flower is called bisexual flowers. Some flowers have both the male and female reproductive part in the same flower. This means that the flower has both the stamen and pistil. Okay, the flowers has both the stamen and pistil. Such a flower is called the bisexual flower. Example, lily, then hibiscus, then orange. In all these flowers, in the same flower, both the stamen and pistil are present. Listen it. Such flowers are called the bisexual flowers. For example, the flowers of lily, then hibiscus, orange are examples for bisexual flowers. Listen it. In unisexual flowers, the flowers has what some plants have got the separate male and female flowers. Okay, some plants have separate male and female flowers. The male flower has only the male reproductive part and the female flower has only the female reproductive part. Okay, such flowers are called unisexual flowers. For example, watermelon, then papaya and then bitter gourd are examples for unisexual flowers. But in the case of bisexual flowers, both the male and female reproductive part are seen in the same flower. Such flowers are called bisexual flowers. For example, lily, hibiscus and orange. Listen to it. That is about the unisexual flowers and bisexual flowers. Next about pollination. Next is actually pollination. Actually pollination is the transfer of pollen from anther. Okay, you know, anther which is the part, actually this is anther which contain what? Pollen grains. Okay, so the transfer of pollen grains or pollen from anther to the stigma of the same kind of flower, that is called, that process is called pollination. Okay, you know, actually last class also we have learned the structure of flower. Actually this structure is actually anther. Anther contain what? A powdered form, actually that is pollen grains or pollen. Okay, that is the transfer of pollen grains from anther. Okay, the transfer of pollen grains from anther to the stigma. Actually this is the part stigma. Okay, stigma of the same kind of flower, that is called pollination. Listen it, what is pollination? The transfer of pollen grains from anther to the stigma of the same kind of flower, that is called pollination. Listen it, the transfer of pollen grains or pollen from the anther to the stigma of the same kind of flower is called pollination. Listen it, and this pollination is of two types. First is the self-pollination. First is the self-pollination. Pollination is of two types. First is the self-pollination. Actually in self-pollination, the pollen grains from a flower reach the stigma of the same flower. Okay, the pollen grains from the anther that reach the stigma of the same flower or another flower of the same plant. Okay, you know, the same plant contains a lot of flowers. Suppose if the pollen grains that transfer from anther to the stigma of the same flower or another flower of the same plant. Okay, another flower of the same plant. This type of pollination is called self-pollination. Next about cross-pollination. The second method of pollination is actually cross-pollination. Listen it. The second method of pollination is actually cross-pollination. In cross-pollination, the pollen grains from anther, the pollen grains from a flower reach the stigma of a flower of another plant of the same kind. It is called cross-pollination. Listen it. In cross-pollination, actually, pollen grains from a flower that reaches the stigma of a flower of another plant. Suppose we have two hibiscus plant is there. Okay, and here the pollen grains from one flower, okay, of one plant, that is transferred to the another plant of the same kind. Listen to it. That type of pollination is called cross pollination. Okay, the pollen grains from a flower that reaches the pollen grains from a flower that reaches the stigma of a flower of another plant. Here we have two plants of the same kind. Listen to it. So the pollen grains from one flower to another flower of the another plant, but which is of the same kind. Both, for example, if both the plants are hibiscus, listen to it. That type of pollination is called cross pollination. Okay, when pollen grains from a flower, is the stigma of flower of another plant. Okay, but which is of the same kind. That is called cross pollination. In cross pollination, the pollen grains from a flower they reach the stigma of a flower of another plant of the same kind. That is called cross pollination. Listen it. In self pollination, actually the pollen grains from a flower they reach the stigma of the same flower or another flower of the same plant. Here the pollination that occurs in the same plant, that is called self-pollination. But in the case of cross-pollination, actually the pollination that takes place between the flowers of two plants of the same kind. The pollination that takes place between the two flowers of the two plants of the same kind, same kind. Such pollination is called cross-pollination. Listen it. That is about pollination and the two types of pollination, that is self-pollination and cross-pollination. Through pollination, the pollen grains are transferred from one flower to another flower. Listen it. Then how, in what are the ways actually the transfer of pollen grains that takes place? Listen it. Actually it is through birds, then insects, then bats and wind. Actually these are carry pollen grains from flower to flower. Birds, then insects, then bats and wind. Listen it. Birds, insects, then insects, then bats and wind. Actually these carry pollen grains from flower to flower. Okay. Actually the flowers of these plants have special features that attract pollinating agents. Actually these are pollinating agents. Pollinating agents. Okay. In order to attract these pollinating agents, the flowers have special features. Listen it. Okay. And such flowers have flowers of the plants have special features that attract the pollinating agents. Okay, different plants have different pollinating agents. Different plants have different pollinating agents. Listen it. And many insect pollinated plants have flowers with large colorful petals. Okay, many insect pollinated plants have flowers with large colored petals and large colored petals. Large colored petals, then sweet scent, and also that possess nectar. Okay, sweet scent and nectar. Actually these features that attract hummingbirds, then ants, then bees, then beetles and butterflies. Listen it. Actually most of the orchid families plants are actually what this insect pollinated plants. Listen it. And many insect pollinated plants have flowers that have large colored petals, and sweet scent and nectar. Actually these are the important features of the flowers of plants. They are pollinated by insects. Okay, large colored petals, then sweet scent and nectar. Listen it. Actually these features that attract hummingbirds, then ants, then bees, beetles and butterflies. Listen it. Actually that is about the insect pollinated plants. Listen it. And some of the plants that bloom at night. Okay, some of the plants that bloom at night are actually pollinated by nectar feeding bats and moth. Okay, nectar feeding bats and moth. Listen it. Some plants that bloom at night. Okay, some flowers that bloom at night are pollinated by nectar feeding bats and moths. And such flowers are usually, white in color. Okay, such flowers are usually actually white in color. Then what will, that is the example. Also queen of night. These are examples for the flowers that bloom at night. Okay, and actually such flowers are mostly of color white in color. Appears white in color. As these animals that move from one flower to another flower, that carry pollen grains from their bodies also carries pollen grain from one flower to another. In this way, actually the pollen grains are transferred from flower to flower. Listen to it. Some flowers that bloom at night are pollinated by nectar feeding bats and moths, and such flowers are mostly white in color, As the animals that move from one flower to another, their bodies that carries pollen grains from one flower to another. That is about the flowers that bloom at night. The next we can see how pollination that occurs through wind, isn't it? Wind is one of the pollinating agents. Okay, the plants those flowers have pollinated by wind actually produce many small flowers, usually in large clusters, that means larger groups. Okay, they are very small flowers and they are seen as groups. Listen to it. The wind pollinated flowers such as those of grasses actually do not have colorful petals. They do not possess colorful petals. Okay, and they do not produce nectar also. They do not produce nectar. That they produce abundant pollen grains that are actually light. That is very, very light. Okay, not in color, by weight it is very light and can be, then only it is carried out through wind. Listen to it. And most of the crop plants such as rice, then barley, then oats, okay, here the pollination that takes place through wind. Listen to it. And plants those flowers are pollinated by wind, produce many small flowers, usually in large clusters or groups. The wind pollinated by flowers such as those of grasses do not have colorful petals. They do not have colorful petals and they do not produce nectar. Listen to it. And they produce abundant pollen grains that are light and can be carried by wind. Listen to it. That is about the pollination, pollinating agents such as birds, insects, bats and winds. Next about fertilization. Fertilization. Okay. When a pollen grain that falls on the stigma, when the pollen grains that falls on the stigma of a flower of the same kind, it develops a long tube that is called the pollen tube. Listen to it. When the pollen grains that falls on the stigma of the flower of the same kind develops a long tube, that tube is called the pollen tube. Listen to it. And this pollen tube that grows downward, the pollen tube grows downward through the style towards the ovary. Listen to it. The pollen tube grows downward through style towards the ovary. Okay, actually the male gamete that is actually inside the pollen tube. The male gametes are inside the pollen tube. When the tip of the pollen tube that reaches the ovary, it opens and the male gamete that enters the ovule. Listen to it. When the tip of the pollen tube that enters ovary, when the tip of the pollen tube that enters ovary, it opens and male gametes are enter the ovule. And the gametes are enter the ovule. Listen to it. And this male gamete that fuse with the egg. Okay, the male gamete that fuse with the egg. Actually, it is the female gamete. Listen to it. And this is called fertilization. Okay, this is called fertilization. And the fertilized egg that is called zygote. The fertilized egg is called zygote. Okay, that is the fusion of the male gamete with the female gamete is called fertilization, and the fertilized egg is called zygote. Listen to it. When the pollen grains that falls on the stigma of the flower of same kind, it develops a long tube that is called the pollen tube, and this pollen tube that grows downward through the style and towards the ovary. The pollen tube that grows downward through the style towards the ovary. Listen to it. The male gametes are inside the pollen tube. When the tip of the pollen tube that enters the ovary, what will happen? It opens and male gametes enters the ovule. Listen to it. The male gametes then fuse with the egg, which is the female gamete. Okay, and this process is known as fertilization, and the fertilized egg is known as zygote. Listen to it. The process of fusion of male gamete with the female gamete, that is the egg, that process is called the fertilization, and the fertilized egg is called the zygote. Okay, that is about fertilization. Okay, children, what are the things that we learned today? First, we learned a unisexual flower and bisexual flower. Unisexual flower means in that flower either the male or the female reproductive part is present. Okay, in the case of bisexual flower, both the male and female reproductive part that's seen on the same flower. That is the bisexual flower. Okay, next we came pollination. Then what is pollination? The transfer of pollen grains from anther to the stigma of the same kind of flower. That is called pollination, and this is of two types, self-pollination and cross-pollination. Then what is self-pollination? The pollen grains from the flower reach the stigma of the same flower or another flower of the same kind. That is called self-pollination. Then what is cross-pollination? When the pollen grains from a flower, they reach the stigma of a flower of another plant of the same kind. That is called cross-pollination. Okay, then also we have learned the pollinating agents such as birds, then bats, then wind. Okay, then beetles, butterflies, etc. The pollinating agents. Listen to it. Next we came to fertilization. Then what is fertilization? Actually, the process of fusion of the male gamete with the female gamete, that is egg, that is called the fertilization, and the fertilized egg is called the zygote. Okay, children, that is the end of today's class. Thank you.